Hi, this is Joe Chambers. Thanks for watching Musicians Hall of Fame Backstage. And don't forget to like and subscribe below. It really helps. So you're in town playing with Ringo. How did that happen?
Well, I always knew about the All-Star Band, and it was something I go, wouldn't it be great if I could get into that? I loved it because George Harrison became a friend of mine after Jeff passed away. We were having a tribute to him. It was an amazing tribute with so many legendary people that he had worked with and that were heroes of mine, also in many cases friends. And I went out to a club, and he was there. George Harrison was there, and I'm going, oh my Lord, this is the reason why I play guitar. He was in the VIP section. I don't know why he was there. It was a freakish thing, sort of like meant to be, I guess, maybe. And I asked the bouncer, I said, and they let me in. I said, look, I don't want to bother the guy. I just want to shake his hand and say, thank you for everything, and I'll walk away. I'd worked with, Paul, so that was why I said, tell him I worked with Paul, and not that would, I don't know, I didn't know how he would react. We might have said, like, but he's like, no, come on over, and I met him, and I was, really gracious. I said, I want to take any of your time. He goes, no, sit down, order a drink or something like that. At some point, he asked me to sit down. So, I had a drink or two, and I loosened up a little bit, and I was, I'd say, man, I don't want to be that guy, but I just want to say that I play music because of you, and you said the first thing that hit me hard was your soul, and I saw her standing there. I go, I must have wore that out just picking up the needle playing. There was just the sound, the way you played it, and that made him smile a little bit. And I said the solo and this, that, and I knew the ones that he did and the ones that he didn't. A lot of people go, I loved your solo on Taxman. He's like, oh, that was Paul, or something like that, So I knew the ones that he did and how much I knew all his solo stuff. And he took a shot. I was, making him laugh, and he enjoyed the hang. And I was there hung with him for about an hour or so. And I was like going, wow, this is too cool. And they started to close the clubs. It was like a time to say goodbye. And I looked over at him. I said, I know this is a crazy long shot, but we're doing a gig. I explained that our drummer had passed away. One of the greats of all time, Jeff McCartney. He had heard the name. Jim Keltner, who obviously knew George well. I mean, we had a lot of mutual friends. I dropped the right names, and he knew I was legit because I knew certain things, And I said, all the guys are going to be there. I said, we're having a special, tribute to Jeff at the amphitheater in 2 days, and the last song we play is A Little Help With My Friends. We do kind of like the Joe Cocker version or whatever. If you got eyes and you want to pop in, sit in or something like that. I know this is like 1,000,000,000 to 1 chance, but I'd kill myself if I didn't ask. And he goes, well, I might show up. I'll leave a couple tickets at the back, and no pressure. And I just want to say it meant the world to me to meet you, And I walked out just high as a kite that I met George Harrison, and he was nice to me, and I had a moment. Thrilled. So I worked with Paul. I met George. I went, wow. This is beyond my wildest dreams. Now, I'm sitting backstage at the event at the amphitheater, and Donald Fagen's there. I mean, like Boz Scaggs, Michael McDonald, I'm David Crosby, David James and Howard. We had all. I can go on, and I'm missing people here. Don Henley, Eddie Van Halen, guys that normally wouldn't show up to these things showed up because they all love Jeff, and Jeff worked with all of them. You know what I mean? And plus all of us. And I'm sitting at the piano back there, and we're kind of working out who's going to sing what on Little Help With My Friends, and I get it. Somebody's here to see. I go, really? This is a bad time. I was sitting with my guitar. Paige and Steve were all there playing piano. We're figuring out. He goes, no, somebody from Liverpool is here to see you. And I took a gasp, and I turned around, and there's George standing in the hall. He goes, bet you didn't think I was going to show up. I said, no, I really didn't. And I didn't really say anything to anybody because I didn't think he was going to show up. And everybody's like, jaws went like this. And he goes, you fancy me to play on something like that? And I go, yeah. And I had my 59 Les Paul there, right? My burst. I said, well, you can play this, And he goes, and we start playing it, like the Cocker version, which we had already rehearsed up. And he started playing it, and he stopped. He goes, that's not the way me and the lads played it. And I said, what do you say? It's like, I'm going like, oh my God. He goes, I got it. And we did the whole show. and everybody was out there. I mean, the Magic, Donald Fagen hadn't played. The Steely Dan wasn't together in town. And Fagen hadn't been to L.A. because he hates L.A. But he came out for Jeff. And so we were going to do Chain Lightning and Josie. And like when we announced, you know, ladies and gentlemen, we had one of Jeff's friends, and I didn't say who it was. And we started, and people, it was the intro of Chain Lightning. And all of a sudden, Fagen comes out on Rhodes with sunglasses on. They roll them out, and the place went crazy, right? And then Boz came out. We did Lowdown. You know, everybody who was there, we did amazing stuff with. And then you know, we ended it with Eddie Van Halen and I doing "Ain't Talking About Love," and then he played "Hold the Line." We did a jam. We walked up the stage. The place went crazy. Encore, right? We're gonna come out and do a little help with my friends. So we're gonna come out and introduce everybody. And everybody's going, wow, everybody's going to do a jam. I said, one last unplanned moment here. I forget how I said it. I paraphrased it. I said, somebody really special's in the house tonight. Decided to come out and jam with us on this last song, ladies and gentlemen, George Harrison. He walked on the stage, and it was like the loudest scream I had ever heard in my life. And it was, everybody was just like, the faces cracked and just like, and we did the tune. There's pictures of it. I have it in my book, and you can find it anywhere. It was magic. And then after that, you know, we exchanged numbers, and we started. He'd call me to hang out and go for dinner and stuff. He played me Free as a Bird before he came out. He invited me to dinner one night with Keltner and all these guys. He said, meet me at this Italian restaurant. He used to leave these amazing messages on the old school, fun. It got lost, you know, one of those kind of things. It wasn't reel to reel, it was a digital, you know, the blackout, it goes, see you later.
Yeah.
And there was a blackout in the hills where they lost all these great messages from all these amazing people that I used to keep. And so I go to dinner, it's like, you know, all of a sudden Bob Dylan walks in the room. I was there early, and, you know, and I'm going, Bob Dylan just walked in, and I'm going, oh my God, this is too deep. And then Keltner and all these other people, and I'm sitting, George is here, I'm sitting here, and Dylan is sitting here. I'm like, it was a really long story, but I mean, it was an insane night. He would do stuff like, we ended up at a jam at Jeff Lynne's house afterwards. So I was playing, was it Keltner on an electronic kit, Bob Dylan was playing bass, I was playing an acoustic guitar, and George was playing a Rickenbacker, and Jeff Lynne was playing like a, I don't know, some kind of synth thing. And we were just goofing about for a while, and it was just telling stories and hanging. And I started playing "I Want to Tell You" and stuff like that. And he started playing and singing a little bit. It was something that I will never ever forget in my life. You know what I mean? And so I don't know where we're going with that, but I told the story.
Ringo.
Ringo, and then I heard Greg Bissonette, my brother.
Hey, hold on a second. We'll be right back.
The Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum has been celebrating the men and women who make the music of our lives since 2006. The Musicians Hall of Fame is the one and only museum in the world that honors the talented musicians who played on the greatest recordings of all time.
It's a music city, huh? It's, I mean, where else are you going to get the cats, all the cats that are in this room?
The Grammy Museum Gallery at the Musicians Hall of Fame is an interactive facility that allows guests to explore the process of making a recording. Take drum lessons with Ringo Starr. Sing on stage with Ray Charles. Write a song with Desmond Child. Rap with Nelly. Or be Garth Brooks in our recording studio experience. Located in the heart of downtown Nashville, in the first floor of the historic Nashville Municipal Auditorium. Come see what you've heard at the Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum.
Hi, I'm Tyler Rudesheim, Director of Events at the Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum. Located within the historic Nashville Municipal Auditorium, the Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum is one of the most unique spaces in downtown Nashville, offering a versatile environment that caters to events of all sizes. Your guests will love this truly Nashville experience. We specialize in corporate dinners, music industry events, receptions, and more. Contact me today to book your next event.
Welcome back to Musicians Hall of Fame Backstage with Steve Lukather, Ringo Starr. How did this meeting happen?
I heard about the All-Star Band, loved it, and I always want to play with Ringo, get the trifecta, because sadly John had passed, you know. And I thought, when Greg Bissonette started playing the gig, you know. And Greg Bissonette, I mentioned, man, if there's ever an opening for him, I'd love to put my name in the hat, you know. I think it'd be a lot of fun for me. It'd be a great honor. He goes, Luka, you'd be perfect. He goes, I'll say something. So nothing happened at that point. And I had gone on the road with Toto. We were doing a show in Paris, and Greg happened to be there with Ringo on a different incarnation of the All-Star Band. And he brought Dave Hart, who's the agent and the producer, and he would find different musicians for Ringo every time he wanted to start a new All-Star Band. I think there's been 18 of them. And he came and saw the show and brought Dave backstage, and Dave was like, yeah, it was great, man. And he goes, I work with Ringo. And I said, I'd do anything to be in that band. He goes, well, I think you'd be really good for the band. Let me, get some music together and play it for Ringo and see what he says. And I owe Greg Bissonette everything for this, for bringing Dave to this, because that was another life-changing moment for me. Much later in my career, this would have been, 2000, I don't know, 8 or 9 or something like that. So it took a minute for it to happen, because I didn't join until 2012. But after a while, they were looking for somebody. They wanted to change the band again. My name came up again, and Dave played some of our music for him. Hold the Line, Rosanna, Africa. He goes, because the idea, you have to have 3 hits to be in the band, legit. Well, and then I called up Jim Keldner. I said, all right, I never do this, but Jim, can you put a good word in for me, because I really want to do this? And apparently he did. Jim, once again, saved my ass. And between all the recommendations, I said, hey, you should get him in the band. I finally got the call to do the gig. And for a while, they had me sit on, going, God, I really want to find it. I really want to do this. I really want to do this so bad. I finally got the gig, and I had to postpone part of a tour that Toto was going to do I went to the guys and go, it's Ringo, man. Come on, man. You got to let me have just 6 weeks off. I'll stay out the rest of the year. And they said, yeah, that's cool. And I got the gig, and I went and I showed up, and I met him the first night. Woke up the next morning and did the first rehearsal, and I'm going, this is the coolest thing ever. And he was cool. And then as the week of rehearsals went on, it got looser, more fun. And I guess he liked what I was doing. He thought I was a funny dude. And I got on with everybody else, and I played everybody else's music. I studied and made sure I was right with everybody in the band. And that band really gelled. That first band was together for, 5 years? And then he kept me on, Greg Raleigh on, and then changed out some of the other guys. I mean, I don't have any decision-making in this. That was up to him and upper management. But I'm still in the band 7 years later. I'm going to come back next year as well. My goal is to be the longest member of the All-Star Band, you know what I mean?
Well,
and plus we've become great friends, and we hang out, and it's a very important, deep friendship. And he's been so amazing to me. He's such one of the coolest human beings I've ever met in my life.
it was very obvious, just from watching you guys on stage, that he was very fond of you. We could tell that. I mean,
I think that our friendship is real.
Yeah.
I mean, once there's a man behind the Beatle. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, he's always going to be Ringo. I could never call him by any other name. I call him Boss as a nickname. You know what I mean? Our friendship became real, and it wasn't based on fanboy stuff or anything like that. We actually legitimately hit it off. If his name was Bob Smith, he would be my friend. You know what I mean? Because we just had a rapport. You meet somebody, and it feels good. And he felt, after he developed a trust with me that I never betrayed or never will, I didn't go, hey, would you sign this, or can you take this picture? I never do that to this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just are you really my friend, or you just kind of want to tell people that you know me? And, on a much smaller scale, I know what that feels like. Are you really my friend or what? And the friendship lasts, and he lives 8 minutes from my house. We hang and have dinner together often, and we talk on the phone at least once a week, and I genuinely care about him as a human being, aside from the fact that he's a legend.